A former law school friend of J.D. Vance by the name of Sophia Nelson has been in the media recently. First, Sophia Nelson had released some text messages and emails between her and J.D. Vance from the time when they were friends, and they showed that sure, they disagreed on issues, but Vance was always very cordial about it, and he was understanding and at times very sympathetic. But Sophia wanted the chance to kind of explain things a little bit better than what those text messages or emails that she gave to the New York Times could tell. So she went on CNN this week, did an interview where she explained that back then when she knew J.D. Vance, he was a different person. And he has now changed his position on quite literally every single issue imaginable, according to Nelson. Here is what she said. What I've seen is a chameleon. Someone, and actually, let me stop right there because I love that Sophia Nelson used that word chameleon, because the phrase political chameleon is something that I have been using to describe certain Republicans for years. And even this week on America's Lawyer with Pap, I referred to J.D. Vance as a political chameleon. So I love that she used that because that is the word that I use, and I believe it is a perfect description of people like him who just, things are different. Let me go ahead and change how I am to fit in with my surroundings, which I know that's not exactly what chameleons do. It's based on temperature, mood, all kinds of things, but whatever. Anyway, let me read the statement. What I've seen is a chameleon, someone who is able to change their positions and their values depending on what will amass them political power and wealth. And I think that's really unfortunate because it reflects a lack of integrity. That's an important note. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to it. This isn't someone who evolved on one or two issues and with new information. This is someone who's changed their opinion on literally every imaginable issue that affects everyday Americans in this country. She goes on. The J.D. Vance that I was friends with for over a decade was compassionate. And we frequently disagreed. That's reflected in the emails, but he always approached conversations with respect and kindness, which I think is so essential. It's reflected in his Twitter. It's obviously reflected in his cat lady comments and reflected in our interpersonal communications in the end of our friendship. He just started talking in this divisive, dismissive, and cruel way about people who are different from him, and that is just not the person that I used to know. The whole takeaway from this, of course, is that J.D. Vance has just changed who he is as a person to benefit himself when he needed to, right? In 2016, when he made the comments about Donald Trump as essentially America's Hitler, what was really popular at the time to do? Well, in 2016, being anti-Trump was super popular. I mean, hell, there's a lot of folks on the left who actually gained notoriety and even came into existence for launching channels on YouTube, becoming influencers on other social media for their, attacks on Donald Trump. And some of them became hugely successful. Way more successful than us, to be honest. But then when the MAGA movement took over the White House, the House, and the Senate, suddenly all of these right-wing influencers are the ones who exploded. I mean, making millions and millions and millions of dollars by standing with Donald Trump, more money than any of us on the left could ever even hope to see. So what happened? J.D. Vance says, look at that. That's a pretty lucrative market. I'm going to go over there. And then, of course, when he made his crazy, childless cat lady comments, what was super popular? All those right-wing influencers going out there and attacking women every day. J.D. Vance wanted a piece of that. So that's what he became. I agree 100% with Sophia Nelson here. What she says about J.D. Vance is true. But it shows us that not only is he this political chameleon, but most importantly, as she said, he doesn't have integrity, right? He doesn't have actual convictions. He doesn't have actual beliefs. He just wants to say or do whatever is politically convenient for him to do at the time. If it becomes popular to hate Donald Trump again, he'll go back over there one day. And I assume that day will be if Trump loses and he's going to blame Vance for the loss this year's election. Vance may become anti-Trump again, right? He may move over to the left. He may pull an Adam Kinzinger, perhaps a Liz Cheney. But it's not genuine. None of it is genuine with this guy. He doesn't believe anything other than what he pretends to believe on any given day, because that's what suits him politically. America's Lawyer has launched its own YouTube channel. Now, this channel, of course, is still in its early phases of development, but you can help grow it by subscribing. Just go to youtube.com/TheAmericasLawyer, and you'll get all of the great content from Mike Papantonio and myself that we produce every single week.